Okay, I am going to make a piston. So let's go over here and I'm going to create a polygon cylinder. And let's just make that big. Oh yeah, make it really big. And I'm just going to go and move the pivot point bloop, there, and I'll just hold down X and snap it up here. I was holding down D and V to move the pivot point to the base, and then I held down X and snapped it to the grid. And I'll scale it up a little bit. And I'm going to make a duplicate of this. And I'm just going to make it a little bit thinner. There. Yes. Okay, and I'm just going to go and delete the history and freeze the transforms on these two things. Okay, cool. So, next thing I want. I'm going to go in here to... I'm in modeling. I'm going to switch to rigging, and I'm going to go to skeleton. I'm going to go to create joints, and I'll create a joint. I really need a joint. Right there, yeah. And I'm just going to increase the radius a little bit so it's easier to see. Remember, I don't scale it, just increase the radius. And then I'm going to hold down X and I'll snap this puppy here. And I'll make a duplicate of that. And I'm going to hold down V and I'll snap it to the base of the cylinder. Okay. And what else do I need? I'm also going to go over here and I'm going to create a locator. And I'll push the locator over here. And the locator, I'm just going to take the local scale values and increase the size of it. Don't increase the scale here, because when you freeze it, it'll just reset back to the size that it was at. So you want to use the local. Okay, and now we're ready to go. I want to go in and maybe grab this joint and grab that piece of geometry, and I'll do a quick skin, bind skin. It's on selected joints, so it doesn't really matter. There and there. Okay. And now, maybe I'll also go in here and I'll just display the local rotation axes of these joints. And maybe I'll make the radius a little bit smaller so it's easier to see, dudes. Okay, and let's hit, there we go. And so what I want to do is make these two joints stare at each other. So I'm going to select this one first and then this one. And if I go into constraint, there's an aim constraint. And let's go and reset the settings. Aim vector, well, we want to do it along the y-axis, okay, because our joints are pointing up, so I'm going to make that aim vector in y. Remember, these go x, y, z. And then the up vector, well, I can't have that y as well, so I'm going to zero that out. I can make this x, so I'll put it in here like that. Okay, we're going to run into a problem, but that'll be okay. We'll fix it. I'll go ahead and I'll hit apply. And now this one is staring at the other one. Okay, cool. And now we want to do this in reverse order. Select that one first, then select this one. Remember, the last one selected is green. And so then we'll do that. And now you'll see that when I grab this, I grab that, they point at each other. Okay, wonderful. Now what I'm going to do is, let's go and undo that just so it sits there. Okay, cool. I will notice a problem. Okay, so if I do this and then I move it like this, you can see it kind of there. Here, I'll put the wireframe unshaded on so you can see the problem. When I move it side to side, you notice that it's twisting. And that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so to fix that, I'm going to use this locator, and I'll call this thing something like Piston Orient underscore LOC. I don't know, I come up with a better name than that, but yeah, great. And actually, I'm just going to copy that little piece of text right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take a look at this joint, and I'm going to go to the attribute editor for it. I'm going to find the aim constraint. And again, I should name everything a little bit better. Aim constraint attributes. Right here, there's world up type is vector. I'm going to change that to object rotation up. And I'm going to paste in that name right there. And I'll also see if I can find the other aim constraint and get it at the same time. Vector, object rotation up. I have to get both of them. Enter. Okay, and so now I can close this up. And if I check this out, nothing has changed. But if I take this locator and I just rotate it, so if I hold down J and I flip it over this way so the Y is pointing in that direction, you're going to find that now that fixes it. There's still something wrong with the top one. Uh-oh, what's that? The bottom one is now fine. The top one is spinning though, and so which one would that be? That would be aim constraint joint number 2. Okay. Anything I missed in here? World up type Is it because it's flipped or something? It's actually, this is the one. Aha, I didn't paste it in. There we go. Enter. Okay, for some reason I guess I didn't hit enter on it or something. There. Now it works. Goody, 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 goody. And now, the other thing I want to kind of figure out here is go a step beyond, and I'll go in and I'm going to create a spring in this, so it's more like a shock. Right? It could be like a piston or it'd be like a shock. And so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to create a helix. Let's bring my helix up. And let's just scale it up a little bit so you can see it. Okay. And I'm just going to play around with this. What if I go and play with the height? Okay, so I'm just kind of moving it into position and play the height a little bit more. Coils, 3 is just not enough. Let's make it an even 12. Okay, and then the width of this. Okay, we'll see if that's okay. I'm just going to take that radius down. There we go, yeah, like that. Subdivision coils, 50 just seems like a lot. I'm just going to bring it down to 32. What if we go down to 24? It still looks acceptable. Subdivision axis 8 is wonderful. And I still feel like that height could be changed a little bit. Whoop. Okay, and I could spend some time making this all perfect. Okay, but there it is. We've got our little spring here. Now, we've got a problem. If I collapse this thing, I'm just going to go in here and I'll just delete the history, Alt-Shift-D. If we scale it, it compresses and doesn't look very nice, so we want to be able to control that. So what I'm going to do, if I go in here and I take this little edge loop here, and I'm going to go into modify, convert, polygon edges to curve, and I'm going to delete my history right away, and let's just take a quick look-see-poo at this curve. Oh yeah, that's the curve I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm going to go and get the move tool out, and the pivot point's way down here. I'm just going to hold down D and C, and if you middle click wiggle, whoop, and I just got to make sure I get right near the tail end of this thing. And D and C, middle click, wiggle, and there. Okay, so I got the pivot point in the right spot, or the spot that I'm happy with. And I just want to move that to the middle. So if I go and I hold down V and I move this, so it snaps right to that point there. Wonderfully fast. Okay. And now, if I scale this thing, whoop, okay, well, it doesn't flatten out and lose its volume, but it doesn't actually affect this yet. So I'm going to go, I'm in rigging, and I'm going to go under deform, and there's a thing called the wire tool. And with the wire tool, if I look down the bottom corner down in here, it says that it wants me to select a shape. So I'm going to select that and then hit enter. And now it wants me to select a curve. And I'm just going to go into wireframe here so I can get the curve. Come on, little curve. Come out. Come out wherever you are. Okay, let's see if I can click it from here. Yes. And I'll hit enter. And now you'll see that if I scale this, it doesn't seem to be affecting it. Well, most likely that has something to do with the, if I go to the wire, the drop-off distance is too low, so I'm going to increase that. Let's see what happens when I do this. Oh yes, like that, it's nice and squishy. And there you have it. Okay, so that seems to be working. Anything else I need to do? No, that should be good. I'll just undo that so the scale value is sitting at 1 for now. And then this curve, I could bind it to this joint, but that might give me some issues. So I'm just going to take the curve and I'm going to group it, Control G, group, and I'll move the pivot point so it's there. Okay, so now we got a group here, and again I should be naming all this stuff, but I'm trying to go relatively fast. And if I take this and I grab that joint, so the joint selected last and the group was selected first. If I go over here to object, I can switch that order around. Just went to object, and whatever's on top is the last object selected. And I can go and do a constraint, and I could do an orient constraint, or I can do a parent constraint. So I'm going to do a parent constraint and see what happens. So when I grab this and I move it side to side, actually, why is that not behaving correctly? That should be behaving correctly. I might have to do a little bit of thinking on this. What did I screw up? I'm going to pause for a second while I figure this out. Okay, so I figured it out. It was just the wire over here, the actual drop-off distance. I put it up to 5, and that wasn't enough, so I put it up to 100, and now everything works fine. Okay, so that's good. The next thing I want to do is I would like it if when I did this, this stretched down, or also too, if I just moved this down, if it's squished. Okay, that would be kind of cool. What I'm going to do is let's go in and I'm just going to take this joint and this joint. I'm just going to do the isolate select thing, and then I'm going to go here to create, measure tools, distance tool. And I'm going to hold down V and get that one and that one. Okay, and that gives me the distance between these two joints. And if I can measure that, then I can maybe, like if I went in and I grabbed those locators, let's just undo this for a second. If I have, say, this joint selected, let's see if I can get the little locator as well, you bastard. Got it. Okay, and then I select the joint, and I just switch the order around. I could do something like, in this case here, constrain to a point constraint, so that thing will always follow the joint around. So we can get this one, flip the order around, and constrain, point. Okay, and I'll just show you that when I move this, it's changing the number here. Okay, and so now what I want to do is I want to be able to take that number and spit that out and do something with this coil here. And I'm just going to pause for a second. So, I just want to finish this off, and I've been thinking about it, and what have I got here? I got my little distance thing. Okay, great. So, I got to figure out a way to get this piece of information here, this distance out of here, and I can't right-click or do anything like that to get this information out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it somewhere else. And what the hell does that smell? Oh my god, my dog! Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this locator, and I'm gonna use this. I'm just gonna pop a piece of information because I can't get it off of the distance dimensions here, so I'm gonna put it over here so I can grab it out and make a center-driven key out of it. So if I go over here to modify and I hit add attribute, and I'll just call this something like spring scale. There we go. And I'll hit OK. And so I'm going to select that locator, and I'm also going to select the distance dimension transform here as well. And let's just go into the node editor, and I'll hit that little button there. Okay, great. And so what do we got? Looking around, and I see the group aim constraint. Well, there's the distance dimension, and I guess that's my locator transform right there. Okay, and if I click on this, I can see there's distance, and I'm going to run it up here, and I'm going to stick it into spring scale. So now, when I grab that locator and I look, the spring scale's got the distance amount in here. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make a center-driven key out of it. Let's go edit. Oh, I don't have anything highlighted, so I'll highlight this. And if I do the center-driven key, this is the fastest way to get to it. I can switch into the animation section and stuff like that, but that's faster. And it's sitting in the driven category, which is wrong, so I'm going to load driver, put it over here. And then I want to get, what is it? On here I've got something I was horsing around with some other experiments earlier. So if I go into the hypergraph, come on hypergraph, oh it's right here. I hate how it doesn't show up anymore. And I got a curve that's in here that's controlling this. I'm just going to kill the history on it because I was playing with a wrap deformer to see if that would help it, and it didn't work. Now, if I take this and I put this in as a driven, and I hook up its scale Y, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pull this up a bit. I'm going to say, oh my god, dogs, I'm getting dog fart smells in my nose. And anyway, I just pulled this up, so this is where it's gonna max out. And if I grab the curve here, I'm just gonna take its scale Y and I'll put it so it's like right there, dude. And I'm gonna make sure scale Y is keyed. So now they're connected. I'm just gonna get rid of this thing. Okay. And then if I take this and I move it down, I'll move it as close as I'm going to get, somewhere like here. We'll see if we ever use that, right? Like this is going to compress and it just won't look right, but... And let's do something like this. Yeah, see, I'm never going to get that close. But anyway, we'll just see what that looks like there, and I'll key it. And so now they're connected. And when I use this joint, see, if I go beyond my maximum, it goes bad, but if I'm here, this all kind of works. Probably I should control how close that gets, but anyway, this works, and also this one works too. Okay, so if I parent these joints into places on my robot or wherever I'm putting this, everything works. I just can't get rid of this thing. I probably might have to go ahead and I should organize these things. Let's get rid of this crap. Okay, so here, I'm just going to undo this. So actually, if I go back a few here, I can just take this, and if I go and I hold down X, and so I think it's straight up and down here, something like that. So that's good enough. That's my good default thing. What's this? This is 5 minutes of stuff combined with the other bit that I did. Probably a good idea to save. I should name all this stuff. I'm thinking that I would do something like go in here and take these joints, and maybe I'll group those joints, and I'd call that, say, skeleton underscore group. Okay. And how did these come back? I thought I just deleted those. Okay. And poly to curve, and what was this? This is a base wire. Was I doing anything with this? Oh, maybe I was. I might have to be careful about that. This is my geometry here. Just gonna group that, and we'll just call that geo group. Okay, great. And this one here, that's my spring, and it's got it's parent constrained. There's some locators here, and there's another curve, and what's this thing? That's my piston orient locator. So my brain says, you know what? I'm just going to take these things and I'm going to put them into a group called donut. Oops. Donut touch. I want to touch the donuts. Just a little bit, please. Donut touch group. So I got skeleton group, geo group, and... Oh, I hit a control freaking D. You freaking idiot, what were you thinking? I'm just going to see if this works. So this thing works here. I thought I hit Control G, and I think I hit Control D at some point. So let's try it again. Donut. Touch. Group. I usually like to put an underscore in there. Great. And I think that's good. And then I can go in and I'll group the groups and call that Piston Master Group. Piston Master Group. And I think I'm organized. I'm just going to check and make sure everything works. Okay, good. So this is all good. So, there, I can save this, and I can import it into other scenes. I might do some colorful naming in here and stuff like that. But this is organized, and my life will be easier, and hopefully yours will be easier too. And that's it. I'll stop right here.